If inflation returns in 2025, the first people to get hurt won't be Wall Street investors. It's going to be ordinary families. People who already feel like their money isn't stretching as far as it used to. People who feel their paycheck shrinking each and every month. It's a quiet pressure that builds up over time, and that's what we need to talk about. So, what are the experts actually seeing right now? Let's take a calm look at the data, without the panic you see on the news. Economists are keeping a close eye on several key warning signs. First, we have oil prices. They've been slowly but surely trending upward. When oil gets more expensive, it's not just about the price at the pump. It means it costs more to transport everything, from the food in your grocery store to the packages delivered to your door. Next, there's what they call sticky food inflation. Have you noticed that even when other prices dip, your grocery bill just doesn't seem to get any smaller? Certain food costs are stubbornly high, and they aren't coming down as quickly as we'd like. Then you have rising service costs. Think about everything from getting a haircut to getting your car repaired. The cost of labor and parts is going up, and that gets passed on to you. Finally, we're seeing wage growth begin to slow down. For a while, many people's paychecks were increasing, which helped to offset some of the rising prices. But if that growth stalls while costs continue to climb, your purchasing power gets squeezed. Now, if you look at any one of these factors by itself, it might not seem like a big deal. A few cents more for gas here, $1 more for your lunch there. It looks small, but when you put them all together, they create a powerful undercurrent of pressure on the economy. The biggest danger we face isn't some dramatic sudden spike in inflation like we've seen in the past. It's the risk of inflation returning quietly, so slowly, so gradually, that you don't really notice it day to day. It's not a sudden shock. It's more like a slow leak. You don't notice it until you sit down at the end of the month to look at your budget, and you suddenly realize things feel much, much tighter than they did before. That's the scenario we need to prepare for. So let's bring this down to earth. If inflation does creep back up, what does that actually mean for you in your daily life? The very first place you'll feel the pinch is in your basic everyday expenses. We're talking about your groceries. That weekly shopping trip suddenly starts costing $10, then $20 more for the same items. You'll see it in transportation costs. Whether you drive a car and pay for fuel, or you rely on public transit, the cost of getting from point A to point B will likely increase. And it's also the small daily items, the little things we often don't even think about. That morning coffee, the snack you grab in the afternoon, the cleaning supplies you buy. The prices of these small pleasures and necessities add up surprisingly fast when inflation is in the air. Things like rent or mortgage payments tend to adjust much more slowly. Landlords and banks usually have contracts that lock in prices for a year or more. But the cost for food and services? They can rise very, very quickly. They're flexible and can change from one week to the next. This creates a dangerous gap. Your biggest expense, your housing, might stay the same for a while, giving you a false sense of security. But all around it, the cost of just living your daily life is going up. And even if your salary stays exactly the same, your money is now buying you less. That widening gap between your income and your expenses is what quietly eats away at your savings, little by little, month by month, without you even realizing it's happening until you're in a tough spot. When you're facing times of uncertainty and potential inflation, the single strongest defense you have isn't fear or panic, it's clarity. It's about understanding exactly where your money is going. Panicking leads to bad decisions. Clarity leads to smart, proactive choices. There's one simple habit that can provide this clarity better than almost anything else. I call it the 30-day category check. Grab a simple notebook or a spreadsheet. You don't need fancy software. Create 3 columns. Label them needs, wants, and non-negotiables. Needs are the absolute essentials. Your rent or mortgage, basic groceries, utilities, and essential transportation. Wants are things you enjoy but could live without. Eating out, subscriptions you don't use often, impulse buys. Non-negotiables are a bit different. These are things that might look like wants, but they are crucial for your well-being or career, like a gym membership for your mental health or a specific software for your work. For the next 30 days, track every single dollar you spend and put it into one of these 3 categories. The goal here isn't to judge yourself or feel guilty. The goal is to find the invisible leaks, those small recurring expenses you barely notice that are draining your account. It could be a daily coffee that adds up to over $100 a month, or multiple streaming services when you only watch one. Once you have 30 days of data, the final step is to make a small adjustment. Don't try to slash your budget in half overnight. That's not sustainable. Just look for 1 or 2 wants you can reduce, and aim to move just 5 to 10% of your total monthly spending toward a savings buffer. This small, consistent adjustment does far more to protect your financial health than trying to time the market or make drastic, fearful cuts. It builds a protective wall brick by brick. So as we look ahead to 2025 and the possibility of rising prices, remember this: the best protection isn't a complex investment strategy. It's awareness of your own spending and one small, powerful habit that strengthens your financial buffer. Stay informed about what's happening in the economy, but more importantly, stay steady in your own financial habits. This is about building resilience, one small step at a time. And please remember, this video is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Your financial situation is unique. The key is to find what works for you. Maybe try one helpful habit this week and see what you discover. Thanks for watching.